welcome back to the Milestone Moment, the show where we interview top producing agents and ask them about their story and the moment everything changed for them in real estate. Today we have Kevin Lamb with the Maison Group and Compass Real Estate. Thanks for being on the show, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, give me some of your background. How did you get into real estate? What transpired there?
Yeah, my journey into real estate actually has not been a long one. It's only since the pandemic days.
Right.
2020, I've got all the time in the world, and I was like, let me take this real estate license course that I always wanted to take, so then I can go buy and sell real estate for myself.
Okay.
Once I had the license, started helping some friends, and I realized this can take on its own kind of life and journry.
I love it. And I know you spent some time at Zillow, so you were around real estate for a while. And then what'd you do right before real estate, I guess would be?
Yeah, I have done everything you can imagine. I've been about a decade in the corporate world, from investment banking. Lehman Brothers was my first job, if you remember that company that went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And then I moved on, did some consulting work, and then worked at a few tech firms like Zillow in the product management role. Yeah. So that all helped kind of build out to where I'm at in real estate now. I think those professionalism and like that analytical strategic mindset help translate into how I assist my customers today.
I love it. Well, it's also managing people and probably collaborating quite a bit, which is maybe a big part of you growing a team and kind of being able to be a great leader and mentor, I would assume.
Yeah, well, we'll see if I'm going to be a great mentor and leader. The Maison Group is actually a newer venture of mine. Sure. It's only been at the beginning of this year that I started this group.
I love it.
But right now I do have 6 agents on the team.
Wow.
Some of them are actually brand new, and so kind of reminds me of when I started brand new.
Sure.
And having that someone to guide you and mentor you, I think that's very important in this business.
Now, was that spun off of the fact that you needed more support, or did you just enjoy mentoring people and want to grow their business, or how did that Maison Group, how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I didn't really need support per se.
Okay.
I just really wanted to help other people grow and help other people succeed in their journey. And so for me, I see my team as in I'm working for them versus they're working for me, right? That. I want to see how I can guide them in every little steps, let them think about how to grow their brand, how to really sort of have the operations and systems down so they can scale. If they're so successful and everybody leave and do their own thing, I think I would be, very happy.
Okay. Well, and obviously, but you pour so much time into them. I assume being on your team and all those things because you're pouring into them is probably useful. But that's fantastic. I mean, I think that's a great mindset because anybody that is growing people is that at some point they may go on and do something different and be on their own, and maybe that's their milestone moment to be out on their own, which is a huge thing for you to be able to help mentor that. And then obviously you're giving back to probably that real estate community as well.
Giving back is a big thing, I think. Real estate is such a lonely business. You can heads down, do transactions all day long, but at the end of the day, what makes it fun is the people that we interact with, not just about my team and creating a great culture and mentoring them, but I've been trying to actively get involved in our Realtor community. Okay. So this year I got involved with the Seattle-King County YPN Young Professional Network Council.
Yes, you've been on the board with the YPN, correct? And
hosting events, organizing events every month, from educational to social events, and bringing realtors together. I think
more a part of that community, correct?
Yeah, that's makes it fun for me, and it's a small world. You never know who you're going to meet that you'll interact with in the future and do a deal together.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I go to all those events. You do such a great job hosting them, and I get to.
And I see you there all the time, and I love how involved you are as well.
Get to network with great agents. I can't pass up on that. Now, I think, are you running for the board? Tell us about. Voting. I'm voting for you for sure. Tell us about your next venture.
Indeed. So this year I'm on the Young Professional Network board, but I wanted to get more into the actual Seattle-King County 2026 Board of Directors.
Interesting.
And so I am now running for the Director at Large role. So it's something where I want to give back to the community, thinking about how do I push for diversity, for innovation, for professional development, for community building. So those are kind of the pillars that I'm trying to run for. And as a newer agent myself, I'm trying to bring in some fresh perspective into the group as well.
Well, you're so modest and humble, but I'll tell you, you've done more transactions as a new agent than many people have done for 20 years in the business. So you're very humble in the way you speak, which is amazing. And obviously, for newer agents, what's the best advice for somebody that's just getting started, you think?
Yeah. For newer agents, I mean, again, I consider myself a newer agent.
I love it.
I think really consistency is key. It doesn't matter what you do, but once you decide this is what I want to focus on, whether it is building your sphere, whether it's focusing on building your brand on social media, whether it is, hey, door knocking or cold calling, you just stick with the plan and be consistent on it. I actually didn't even have Instagram when I started real estate. I actively hated my wife, scrolling on her Instagram.
Right. I'm staying away from that.
I'm like, focus on me, not, whatever is out there with other people posting. But I have to start that, as I'm now in the business. And I've just been
a pillar of business for social media, right? Yeah.
Indeed, the marketing and and then now I'm just very consistent with it. I decided every week I want to have 3 posts out there, and I've stuck with it for all 4 years, and kind of really built a presence on there where people come on and they see that I'm active, they see what I'm doing, they get to know me, and again, the consistency is about.
So you put a plan together, and then obviously you execute on that plan, and you're consistent with it all the way through.
Yeah, and I really treat this like a business.
Yeah.
What someone told me this that really stuck with me when I joined real estate and transitioned into this full time. They said that in real estate, you are pretty much unemployed every morning you wake up. Right. It's very true, we have to work and get the business and make our time worth it every day. Yeah. Otherwise, it can just go by so quickly. So I treat it like a business. I bring in kind of my corporate background, my structure, and create a business plan. Every year I have a business plan about what I want to do with my branding, with my social media, with my client appreciation events. I kind of really sort of hone in on that, build out the details, and execute on that. I love that. So I think that's what really drives some of my successes over the last few years as well.
And people can learn a lot from that, which I think is fantastic. Now, again, the episode, it's called the Milestone Moment.
Yeah.
What moment can you, and maybe there's a couple, but is there one moment where it all changed for you, where you're like, real estate is the thing, and I'm going to grow in this industry?
Yeah, so when I started real estate, I actually didn't jump in right away full time. I did about a year being part-time in real estate while I was still working as a product manager at T-Mobile. Right. And this first year in 2021, I was able to earn as much as I was, with my W-2 at T-Mobile, and I was like, I think I can jump into this full-time. Yeah, that was the moment. And, it just hit me. And I made the jump and, the leap of faith and completely turned from W-2 and 1099 and there's no going back. Like I cannot, I cannot
now you
fail.
Write your own schedule. But you're burning the ships. You're going all in. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think that the burning the ship analogy is something that I have always thought about. Is when there's no turning back, there's no other option. That's when you're going to be the most successful, which I think is super important. 2025 has been an interesting market, to say the least. Now I always just tell people I just think it's a market, right? Because there's always just interesting markets these days. There's nothing that's too consistent. Is there anything that you're excited about, or any challenge that you see that you have to overcome with regard to currently, like anything that you see that might be different this year?
Yeah, I mean, challenging is all relative, right? 2022, 2023, we've kind of been in the same spot. There were shifts in the market, and I always remember, some of the more experienced agent that says, "Hey, this is when there's opportunity, right? Sure. This is when you can gain market share if you're really consistent with your business and really continue to work hard and not that fear going to ruin your plan." Right. And so for me, it's still just sticking to the plan, connecting with my clients, building relationships, because at the end of the day, we're in a relationship business, not really real estate business.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah. And I can see why obviously you're building and people are obviously joining you within the Maison Group. Is there a specific type of agent or person, or you said you brought on some new people? There's some teams that aren't open to that. Like, what's the avatar of a great fit for your team?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, for me, I feel like what can get you successful in this real estate business, not only being good at relationship, a people person, but also working hard, really caring about your clients. So when I go and scout, potential agents that I think could be good fit for my team, I kind of really sort of hone in on whether they're thinking about themselves or whether they're thinking about their clients, and through those conversations, think about how they, approach the best interest for their clients, or how they approach that concept, of doing things for their clients and helping other people succeed. That's really kind of is the trigger for me to say this is a good or not a good fit for my
I
team.
love that, because that same probably mentality also bodes well for getting along in the culture of your team and collaborative and bringing people, up in that way. So Kevin, if somebody wants to be a part of the Maison Group, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. They can DM us at the Maison Group, on Instagram, or just reach out to me directly, kevin@themaisongroup.com. And I'm excited just to meet people, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone is a fit, but I think through those conversations, maybe I'm able to learn from them, and I'm able to, on the other hand, give them some tips about how they would want to build out their career and kind of get a clear direction on their journey. And I think it's all about relationships. So I would love to meet as many people as possible. But another thing is, whether you're thinking about joining the Maison Group or not, please vote for me, because I'm running for the 2026 SKCR Board of Directors.
I love it. You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for being a great part of the show. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.